all the praise. We thank you for a wonderful time. We ask you lead us on today too. In Jesus' name, amen. So today our session will be handled by Reverend Isaac Annang, who is a minister in charge of Katamanso Race Congregation in the Oyibi district in the Presbytery. He has been a long time catechist, serving for so many years before he came into the ordained ministry. He was a BTA from Trinity Theological Seminary and also a product of the SMT. Being a student at TTS for his theological education, but went to SMT Ramsar Training College, a Ramsar Training Center, yes, for the ministerial training for 3 years. So Trinity was there for 4 years. He was there 2 or 3 years, put together 7 years of ministry training. Then we can also say that he wrote the SMT paper, which he passed to go to the SMT program, and then wrote the TTS paper, which he passed to join the TTS program on as a private student. I must say I'm proud to introduce him to you as a senior minister. Sometimes I say he's a colleague, but he's a senior minister. So Reverend Isaac Annang, you are welcome today, and please, Papa, we are here for you. Thank you.
Thank you too for the introduction. And good evening and peace be unto you to everyone.
Good evening and peace be unto you also.
Thank you. Please, the name of my congregation is WET, W-E-R-T-Z, WET Congregation, Katamanso, not Katamanso. That is what I wanted to say as an opening comment. And also, you might please, I'm not a senior minister. It's just 3 years post ordination, so I don't know whether I can call myself a senior minister. That is also about.
But 5 years, 5 years post commissioning. So I'm right with that one too.
You
Yes.
I've heard you. I've heard you.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you too. And so let's now look at the main reason or the more reason why we are here this evening. That is about our preparation towards our interview. I have been following it on the page. Some will be going next 2 weeks. Some will be going maybe next 3 weeks. Whichever way, preparation is very, very necessary. The first thing I would like to say is when you appear before the panel, just be confident. Don't let them see that maybe you are intimidated by their presence, and also don't be overconfident. Be confident but not overconfident. And also all the necessary documents that you need to help the panel make their decision, you are to provide it. For instance, if you are married, you have to go with your marriage certificate and all other certificate that you have, that is your educational qualification, all the certificates also you need not to forget it. And also your appearance is also very much important. That is, you have to be in your suit and tie. I don't know about whether bow tie is cool, but at least flying tie should be okay. It sounds more official. It looks more official also. And when I was going to the presbytery interview, I did not go with my spouse, so I don't know about the presbytery interview. But
Yeah, but
for
Papa, I think we should just let them prepare. Should there be a change? Usually they don't go, but I'm told that now some presbyteries are requesting they come as a means of getting to know, as a means of preparing them ahead for the national.
okay,
So even
okay,
though it is not official, you can prepare your wife's mind down or your husband's
okay.
mind down. Should it come up before the interview, or should your presbytery demand it, and then you just let them go with the person? Thank you, Papa.
Thank you. And that means it's been some time. Our time flies because that is why we need to be abreast with things that is going on in our church, because our time when we went, all these things were in there, but it seems some of the things are coming in. So you need to know what is going on so that you will not be caught off guard. It's very important. And as Papa also said, there are few things you should also know about the presbytery in which you are. There is few things you need to know about the Presbyterian Church in general. There should be something you should know some about current affairs, things that are happening, because you don't know the questions that will be coming and where it will be coming from. So you need to prepare adequately for whatever thing you need to have. So, Papa, as time goes on, you need to help, because mine has been almost 8 years, and so some of the things I might not be able to recollect it readily. And so maybe at some point too, if the questions can come, then maybe it will also help recollect some of the things. And so, as we have said, if Mama or Papa will be going with you, let the person dress well, very presentable enough. Mm. And also, you when going, at least it will be appropriate to inform your minister in charge that this is what is happening, because
Okay, I think Papa is, Papa, please, if you can reposition yourself some more for us.
I guess if there are some, because these are the basic things one needs to know. But if maybe there are questions, it will also help.
Okay, so what Papa wants to say is that you'll be glad to address the questions first, and then if there are additions, then we'll add to it. So going for the interview, he says you should be well dressed, inform your spouses if they need be. The reason I say they need be is there's not all of the presbyteries that are requesting for it. Usually it's at the national level. That one, there's a constant one. And some of the presbyteries are giving it a try to just prepare the minds of the spouses down. All because we are having so many issues in the ministry, which has to do with mission house problems, spouses, marriages here and there. So it looks like now the presbyteries are also being careful that even before you go, they want to be sure of the person they are presenting. The point is that in the representative of Ghana, our system is such that if you should go as a minister, you should go through all the process, and then you are commissioned or ordained, let's say ordained usually, and then you start giving troubles. They realize that they put you here, there's trouble. They'll bring you back to your presbytery or your distance. your district. Sometimes they even bring you back to the congregation that candidated you. That is if they don't derobe you. Your gown is not seized and then you are not sacked. They sometimes bring you back to the congregation that you started from as a way of trying to tell that you brought this person. So deal with him and then give you some time to get over. So now the churches, the districts and the presbyteries are also being careful as to the materials they produce, because I am here in Pasa in the Volta Presbytery, but I note that no matter the situation, my root will definitely be in the Medina District Presbytery, because that is where I came from, specifically the Grace Congregation, Baba Yara, where I came from. So whatever it is, that is where your root is. So they try to check some of the things before we go. Dressing is important, Papa have mentioned it. And then confidence, how you answer questions, you should be confident. Even if you don't know, and you want to say you don't know, be confident enough to say you don't know. If you are also going to do lotto, which is not even good, but if you want to try lotto too, be confident enough with your lotto. Let them see you are confident. If you have to justify something, don't be beating around the bush. Just justify what you know. And be abreast with current affairs, things that are going on. Just today, William Ruto, Ruto, one has been declared president-elect of Kenya, beating Odinga. So these are things you should be reading things around you, getting to know things that are happening just and when before the election, the interview. Know things about Presby, the tech bits, as he said, we'll be looking at those things later. So, Papa Ni, I think I've just wrap it up a little bit also for you. And please, any question then, so that he can tackle it from that angle. Any question from anyone? If you have a question, you can just unmute, because you'll be there alone. So, Papa Dennis and Poma Reckon.
Papa.
Okay, Mama and Rita, yes, let's
Papa.
take you first.
Yes, Papa.
Let's take Mama and Rita first.
Papa, please be on to you.
And also on to you too.
Okay, well, Papa, I want to ask you. So those that are not married at the national level, how are they handled?
Okay, Papa Ni is
It's not different from those who are married, but the only thing is that you'll be going alone. That's the only thing.
Okay,
But
it doesn't have any effect on you.
pardon?
Doesn't it have any effect on you?
No. It doesn't.
Because
It doesn't.
in your speech you said your spouse would be a brother they'll take care to or him to what he or she should expect. And here's the case: you are not married. It would be a later thing that you will marry. So how would you handle such a thing? Because that person is not in your church, or maybe is in your church but does not know certain things about the ministry. So it's
my
not going
dear,
to have any effect.
no. It will not have effect on you. And if the person will marry you at a later date, the person will marry you when he or she knows that when you are picked. Let me put it that way. When you are picked, the person will know you are a ministerial trainee. And so the person will know what you are doing or what you are into before he or she will decide that he or she want to settle with you or to marry you, or for you to marry her. And so it do not have any effect. We have my badge, for instance. We had let me see. We have about two grown-ups who already have children, but they are not married, and we had two young guys. Is it to know? We had 4 young guys who weren't married, so it do not affect you in any.
Okay.
I think the
Thank
only
you.
thing that if you're not married, you should prepare for is you may be asked questions as to what are your plans for marriage. That one, if you are not married, you should prepare yourself for such a question as to what are your plans. And sometimes someone will say that I'm already seeing someone. We are already in seeing each other, we are yet to marry. Others will also say we don't have anyone at all. So which one, your position, your status as at the time, you should be able to speak to it. If you are yet, you already have someone that you want to marry, the question will be as to, are you sure the person is interested in your, at least they will ask you a question pertaining to that somebody. If you don't have anyone at all, the question will be to you that how do you think you will face a ministry as a single person, looking at the temptations here and there. So whichever your situation is, you have to prepare your own way to handle it, because sometimes it is very tempting, even in those who are married, they get themselves in trouble. So if you are not married, you have to really know your position. Well, thank you, Mama. Please, we'll take another person.
But
thank you very much.
But you might to add a little something. Most often, the females don't have much of a challenge. Most of it is the guys, because women are able. Women are able to be able to surmount those challenges in ministry than the guys. So since you are a lady, I would say you are good to go if you know.
But also this place is just by the roadside. Like, I'll give you one example for you to see that, Charlie. Some of the women are suffering now. It's not easy. Okay, so any other question? Yes, I can see. Thank you, Mama Henrietta.
Please, how are we going to be contacted for interview?
How are you going to be contacted for an interview? Is that your question?
Yes, for the interview.
Okay, Papa.
Yes, Papa.
For the national or the presbytery?
I think the presbytery, right?
Both, please.
Okay.
Yes, presbytery first before national.
Presbytery by now you should have been contacted, if I'm not mistaken. And for national interview, they will send you a text message before your letter follows, if you are successful at the exams.
Yeah.
Thank you, Papa.
The presbytery, sometimes they call. Sometimes they send messages. Like, I think this year, the presbytery, for instance, they sent them messages, giving them a Google Drive link, a Google Form link, for you to even agree on the date. They have a date span. So maybe from today, let's say today is what, 16th, right? 15th, to maybe they are ending on Friday. They gave them that span, and then they ask you which day will be okay and the time, so that they arrange. So this time, I think the presbytery went a little bigger with those things. But other than that, you receive your call, and then it comes with the time, or your message with the time. Please, if by now, as Papa Isaac Niyama said, if by now you have not received any message from your presbytery or a call, go and check, because by August ending, most of the interviews should have been done at the presbytery level, because your exams might be last year, it was in October. So the possibility of writing in October this year or early or second week in November is high. So for the SMT especially. So please, if you don't have a message or you've not heard from your presbytery, go and check. Find out from your DM and your minister in charge. Is very important as to this time. Thank you. Please, the next question. The next question. So those who have unmuted their mics, also for Clifford, do you have a question?
Please, no.
Okay. Also for Margaret Ajemai Amua, please, do you have a question?
No, Papa.
Okay. Also for Francis Tete Affair, please, do you have a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, because is it the Tete Affair in Medina?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I want Papa to help us with this. when you are asked, why do you want to be a minister? What would be the best answer that you have to give?
This is a difficult one, because everybody has his or her own reason or calling, and so if I give you any, I might not be helping you. You should know the reason why you feel that God has called you into the ministry, and so you tell them the reason why you feel God has called you into ministry, and that will be the best or perfect answer to give anybody. And so I cannot tell you say this or say that, because our calls are different. That is all I can say. But I don't know if my brother Ima could give you a perfect answer to give. I cannot give you a perfect answer to give when you are asked why you feel you have been called into ministry.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so the bottom line is that as we are having, you have been called into the ministry, all of us had our various convictions why we want to be in the ministry. That is what Papa Ni is saying. My story is different from Papa Ni's story. I hope you understand. My conviction will be different from yours. So if we should give you a jacket answer, it will be very difficult. But you have to bring out what is in you, what convinces you to go into the ministry. Example, there are some people who feel called into the ministry and have been hiding. Over the years, they have been talked to, they still don't want to go. But one day, they realize that even the business they are doing all keeps on collapsing. And they still keep getting the same message to go into the ministry. Someone, that would be a conviction that God wants me to go. I hope you understand. Another person will have a different story by saying that it's not about the color. It's not about the gown. It's not being just called mama or papa, but he or she really want to be in the ministry because of A, B, C, and D. Some may be an act of a prophecy. Some it may be a prophecy confirmation, but sometimes if you are going to Presbytery ministry starts with prophecy, if you don't take time, you may not. Anyway, I'm not a prophet, so let me end there. But if you are going to the committee with prophecy and those who have been saying it, prophet way, car way, and you don't have someone who is there, or maybe who knows that prophet, they'll get who understand that prophet properly or knows the ministry, or maybe that prophet is having a questionable character that any of them know. You have to know that you're already out. So that's why sometimes it's difficult using the prophecies. And also I'll be using dreams. And I dreamt I was baptizing people. And I dreamt that I was casting out demons. And okay, don't worry. Evangelist Dr. Abu Ofer is there. If you want to cast demons, go. They will train you. I don't know whether you get some of the things. So let it, it's your personal stuff. And so get it well. And it is not because you have been a JY leader, a YPG president, a YAV president, cat keys, and so because of that you want to go. Because you're already doing the work. So you have to be convinced. And as I'm saying, that conviction is from you. Papa Ni, I'm sure when you were receiving your call, your wife was not even there.
Most definitely.
Yes, me when I receive my call, you know part of me. Yes, I just I told you that I had say. And when I went, I said the same thing. Lucky, I went through. So sometimes it's about being convinced. Do you get it? And then you go. Papa, I think I've added to what you wanted me to talk on, right?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Very helpful.
Okay, so please, any other question? Papa Francis Tete, okay, you are done.
Papa,
Also
just to add on.
Okay, Godfred.
Yeah, Papa, just to add on. You remember the form we filled? I think the very first one of the question was based on our conviction. So I believe we need to also stick to why, and not be swayed off.
Yes.
Just being truthful to ourselves in
Very
relation
good.
to what we know within ourselves and God.
Okay.
Then we move on. Just being truthful. I think that's the only advice I can add
And
on.
Godfrey, thank you for this one too. If you, whatever you wrote on your paper, me, Osofo Niyama will tell you, after it, we did photocopies down. I did a photocopy of whatever I felt. Because sometimes question will be asked, if you deviate from your form, it means that there's a question mark there. Your involvement in church, you deviate from what is on the paper. It means that you are not truthful. Your call into ministry, you are saying A, but your paper says B. So please, let's know exactly what we wrote on our paper, because as you enter, the paper will be in front of them, and they are also going through, they are glancing through. So if you come and say something which is not on the paper, it means I are giving them a fresh information, and that is also not good. And if Papa Ni will confirm this, I'm sure that even when you are commissioned and you are ordained, your file, you have that form that you filled as part of your file, if I'm not mistaken. So it gives them everything about you. Papa Ni, I'm right?
Yes, it's there.
Okay.
All your, how do you call it? Even in ministry, your postings and transfer, everything is there. At some point, I learned sometimes if they are going to do the transfers and the postings, they look at those things, and so you should know what you've written. I remember at some point I said everything and I left, being a lay rep for the Upper Nkwanta Street. And so the current clerk, General Assembly clerk, asked me, but it seems you are leaving something out. Before I recollected and I told them, oh, I was once, but at that time I've not even done my CIM. So I wrote it anyways that I have applied. And so they asked, what about it? And I told them, oh, it will start in this period. From the way you have arranged it, you should know it. It's very important.
Papa Safo Kwame Williams. Osofo Safo Kwame
Thank you very
Williams.
much. Thank you very much. For some of us, this is my second time I'm going, and the first time I went, I was asked a certain question that when I went to the national interview, thank God I wasn't faced with the same question, but for now, I don't know whether the answer I gave was satisfactory or not. They asked me my opinion about certain Presbyterian doctrines, such as infant baptism. And well, like I said, I don't know if the answer I gave was satisfactory or not, because we are not given the opportunity to the results of our Presbytery interview. And so sometimes it gets difficult to know whether you did well or not. So I want to know if certain questions of such nature are posed to you, like, what's your opinion about this? What's your opinion about that? How do we go about
it? We as Presbyterians believe in what they call generational blessings, and so most often children are baptized based on the faith of the parent or the guardian who is presenting the child for baptism. And so that is the Presbyterian Church of Ghana for you. I don't know the answer. If you could help us with the answer you gave, it will also help us in maybe fine-tuning it. But the bottom line is that Presbyterians baptize children based on the faith of the parent or the guardian that is presenting the child for baptism. We believe in infant baptism because there are evidences, even though it is not black and white in the Word of God, there are evidences to point to the fact that children were baptized. Because in the case of Cornelius, if my memory serves me right, when he converted, the Bible tells us that he and his household were baptized that day. And so you can then make the assumption that if the household, the entire household, because that is how the Bible puts it, if the entire household were baptized that day, I don't think there will be a household without a child. I don't think it is possible. There will be a household without children, and so that is that. If maybe you might have something. Pardon?
I said that was the answer I gave.
Okay, then then you are good to go, because you maybe, because I don't know that whether that is the only question they asked. Hello.
Yeah, I think, and then they also asked me. Hello, Papa.
We are here.
And they also asked me, what are some of the things that I see as wrong with the Presbyterian Church that I wish, or what new thing would I bring on board as a Presbyterian minister? And for that one, it was a really difficult question for me. Like I really.
I think the line will just go off. Let's reconnect. Then we address these two issues quickly. It's very, very important.